So, good day everyone. This is the continuation or the part 2 of our topic regarding performance measurement in supply chain. So, in the previous video or in the other video, we discussed the importance and what is performance measures. So, here we are going to talk about the 15 most essential most essential criteria or the factors that we are going to consider in judging our performance with supply chain. So ano ba yung mga criterias or ano ba yung mga items that we need to consider in measuring our performance with our supply chain. And KPIs or key performance indicators that we need to determine for a successful business. So Will Safwat said, "It's not the organizations that are competing; it's the supply chains that are competing." So basically, Will Safwat is correct in saying that there is no really competition between businesses, but there is a competition regarding the performance, regarding the flow, or regarding the services that each organization is offering. So hindi siya person A versus person B. It's about the performance of person A or business A versus the performance of business B. So the supply chain is essentially the backbone of any business, a living ecosystem that ensures the smooth, efficient, and consistent delivery of a product or service from a supplier to a customer. And if your supply chain is inefficient, ineffective, or fragmented, it could seriously hinder your commercial prospects. That's why it's critical to monitor and optimize relevant supply chain metrics. So it is a constant or it is a repetitive statement already in our discussions that supply chain is very important in business because supply chain is simply the business, di ba? Pwede kang malun nga, ang supply chain, ang negosyo because it is the flow of the services, it is the flow of the production, it is the flow of the delivery of the products. Starting from how are we going to order from our suppliers until such point that it will be received by our consumers, whether they are consumer markets or whether they are industrial markets. So simply, we need to make sure that our supply chain is very efficient, is very effective, and it's not fragmented. So kailangan consistent delivery. So again, we need to make sure that the products and the services that we are going to give to our consumers are of quality and timely delivery. Okay? So in doing that, how are we going to measure efficiency? How are we going to measure effectiveness? What level of consistency are we considering to say that our business or the businesses that we are employed to are doing a good job and being successful in doing things? Okay. Again, the term successful. If I will just add to our discussion, uh, during our high school years, yung fourth year, tapos gagawa kami ng, I just remember, gagawa kami ng parang dream, di ba? To be blank, di ba? Usual ganun siya for high school or elementary students na graduate. To be a doctor, ganun. To be a successful businessman. Pero sabi ng advisor namin and ng yearbook moderator namin, we should not put the term successful because successful is qualitative and subjective. So depende yan siya based on the criteria of the person using the term. So what is your definition of successful? Ano ba ang successful sa iyong mga businessman? Pila ka branch ang mahambal mo para maging successful ka? Pila ang profit per year para mahambal mo successful ang business mo? So by answering those questions, those are actually already a performance indicator because when we reach that, for example, my determinant or my the term the time that I will consider that we reach a good profit for this year is when we have 1 million income. So kung nagka 1 million income ka, so that's successful ka for this year based on your criteria. Pero other people have other criteria also. So here we are going to discuss the 15 most common but still subjective performance indicators. Okay? So our top 15 supply chain metrics are, we have the cash to cash time cycle. So what is cash to cash time cycle? This priceless supply chain metric will help you calculate the length of time required to transform your resources into bona fide cash flows. Working with three core ratios, the days of inventory or DOI, the days of payables DOP, and the days of receivables DOR, the cash to cash time cycle KPI or key performance indicator visualizes the period required between the moment a business pays cash to its suppliers and the moment it receives cash from its customers. So basically, the shorter the conversion cycle, the better. And this invaluable supply chain metric will help you take the right measures to ensure that you can run your business with less money tied up in operations. So as we discussed these 15 key performance indicators, we will be integrating now what we have learned in previous subjects, basically financial management, economics. So we are going to integrate here. Now, I am not going to discuss the how are we going to compute such, for example, the days of inventory, days of payables, days of receivables. I am not going to discuss here because I will assume that you have learned already that in your previous subjects, especially in your financial management subjects or FinMan. So what I'm going to discuss now is the relevance of each performance indicators. So here in cash to cash time cycle, it is just simply how long would it take for a business to transform the inventories or the resources into cash. Gaano ba kabilis ang pag-transform sa inventories to cash? How many days ang inventory before siya ibaligya? So that's days of inventory. How many days bago mabayaran ang sales nga credit sales ta? Gaano ba ka-effective ang collection cycle natin? So that's what is important to cash time cycle. How fast can we transform our resources or our receivables to cash? To a real cash already. Hindi na siya receivable. Cash na talaga siya. So again, the shorter the conversion cycle, the better. Because kung mas maliit yung conversion cycle, meaning ibig sabihin, mabilis. Mabilis ang flow from inventory to cash, from receivable to cash. Okay? So the shorter the conversion cycle, the better. Okay? We have another one, the freight bill accuracy. Shipping and freighting your items from supplier to warehouse or from your warehouse to the consumer is vital to the success of your entire operation, and any issue or error can prove harmful with time and investments being wasted. So billing accuracy is critical as well as customer satisfaction. So tracking this particular metric will help you spot detrimental trends, improve your overall shipping accuracy, and ultimately help your business grow. So andyan yung how it is being calculated. So again, simply, freight bill accuracy is just how fast, how effective, how efficient, how safety the cycle or the delivery from your supplier to your warehouse. And then another part or another view for that is from your warehouse naman going to your customers. Okay? So again, that is one. That is why very meticulous, especially nowadays, that we are now on a ano siya, parang panay na, hindi na ngayon uso yung physical purchases. Uso na ngayon ang online, di ba? Online purchases, online selling, e-commerce, di ba? Yung sa Shopee and Lazada and so on and so like. So, especially on those things or on those matters, delivery is very important. The delivery time, the secureness or safety of your products, especially kung fragile ang product. So, halin sa warehouse mo, going to your consumers, dapat syempre safe, buo, hindi siya nga buka na pag-abot na sa consumers. So, that's the freight bill accuracy. And how much is the payment? Okay? We have, again, the third one is the perfect order rate. This particular insight is one of the most critical supply chain key performance indicator for businesses operating in a multitude of sectors. The perfect order rate measures the success of your ability to deliver orders incident-free, which will ultimately help you iron out issues such as inaccuracies, damages, delays, and inventory losses. So the higher the perfect order rate, the better, because this KPI has a direct impact on your customer retention and loyalty levels. So it is somehow connected with yung second natin, which is the freight bill accuracy. But in perfect order, dito siya pupasok talaga yung parang binigyan talaga siya ng performance indicator, yung inahambal ko nga, dapat safe or buo pa ang product bago siya na darating sa customers mo. Hindi siya dapat na-damage, hindi siya dapat delayed. Because of course, okay, so of course, it is not, okay, so of course here, we are going to have the point na parang, ano siya, parang expected siya that it should be kung ano yung nakita nila sa, for example, sa e-commerce website like Shopee and Lazada, yun rin yung darating sa kanila na hindi siya buka-buka. That is why yung parang nagka-issue or nagka-problema or nagka-publicity problem nagka-PR problem si JNT because may mga videos na lumalabas na yung package sa JNT ginahaboy lang pagbutang sa truck. They are not properly handling it. I don't know if that is manipulated, that is black propaganda, but naging issue siya kay JNT. Naging problema siya kay JNT. It's because parang nawawala yung essence or yung hindi careful si JNT sa pag-handle ng products na ginadeliver sa kanila. So that will have an impact not only with JNT but also with the seller. Because ang mangyayari niyan, kung parating sira yung example, nabakal ka sang fragile or vase, glass nga vase, so pwede siya mabuka. Although ginhandle siya properly sang inyong courier, pero since wala ka sang ibutang like itong mga bubble wrap, diba? So bubble wrap and yung mga other things pa na maka-safeguard sa base. So pag abot sa customer mo, buka-buka na siya. Broken pieces na. So ikaw mismo nga seller is nasira ka doon sa customers because you don't give importance to his order. Kaya dito nga, importante, sabi nga dito, it is very important yung perfect order rate because it will have a direct impact on your customer retention and loyalty levels. Number 4, we have Days Sales Outstanding or DSO. The Days Sales Outstanding KPI measures how swiftly you are able to collect or generate revenue from your customers. Essentially, a low or healthy DSO number means that it takes a business fewer days to collect its accounts receivable. A higher DSO level demonstrates that the company is selling its products to customers on credit and taking longer to collect revenue in a tangible sense, which can stunt cash flow and minimize profits in the grand scheme of things. By calculating this often, you'll be able to collect revenue faster and more efficiently, which will help boost your bottom line in the long run. So day sales outstanding is simply nagbaligya ka on credit because nowadays it is now a common practice, especially pag medyo mahal yung products mo, you will offer it for credits, open ka for credit sales. So when we say credit sales, pautang. Now, in day sales outstanding, ang gina-measure natin is how fast can you collect your receivables. So, sorry. Sorry. So, how fast can you collect your receivables? Ilang araw, ilang months, or ilang year can you collect a receivable from a customer? So, very important yung receivable collection, especially for those companies that are not liquid on cash or very very low yung operating cash nila. Okay? When we say operating cash, it means yung kwarta nga paikot-ikot sa office, di ba nang daw ginapa-rolling lang. So kung dugay ang imong collection sa imong receivables, so wala ka na sang ipang rolling, di ba? On a personal matter, wala ka na sang ipang rolling, so wala ka na sang gasuson. For example, ikaw, online seller ka lang, online seller. So gamay lang limited ang capital mo. Tapos ginapautang mo pagid. So kung pautang pagid siya kag hindi mo siya makolekta, wala ka sang cash. Ano ang i-capital mo naman para ibakal mo sa tong imong mga inugbaligya or mga inventories mo. So syempre, pamuntayan ka. So kung wala ka sa pambakal or kung hindi ka pa utangon sa imong supplier, so wala ka sa ibaligya, wala ka sa income for that period. Okay? And we have the inventory turnover. One of the most superbly helpful supply chain key performance indicator available today focuses on logistics KPIs and helps a business understand the number of times its entire inventory has been sold over a certain time frame. An incredible indicator of efficient production planning, process strategy, fulfillment abilities, and marketing and sales management. By calculating your on-time shipping rate and comparing it to other competitors within your industry, you will be able to create a clear management reporting practice, see where you stand, and take the appropriate action to improve it over time. This will result in a boost in brand authority as well as an increased bottom line. So it is very important. So again, this inventory turnover is how fast can you sell the products, di ba? Pag nagbakal ka mag-order ka sa products, nagabot subong pila ka adlaw before mo siya mabaligya. So that's the inventory turnover. And we have the gross margin return on investment or GMROI. Every business, regardless of service, product, or sector, strives to achieve the best return on investment. So ROI. So for each and every commercial activity it undertakes, maintaining a consistently solid ROI is the bread and butter of ongoing e-commerce success. In supply chain metrics, the GMROI offers a clear representation of the gross profit gained for every AED, so dollars or cash, of the average investments made in your inventory. A calculation achieved by dividing the gross profit by the average inventory investment. By tracking this KPI on a monthly basis, you'll quickly gain an insight into which items in your inventory are poor performers and which are worth investing in more. Gold dust in terms of business-based production. So simply, any businesses will deal with ROI. So return on investment. What is return on investment? For example, you will capitalize 1 million pesos. How long will it take for the business to regain that 1 million pesos? Gaano kabilis or gaano katagal in 1 year operation ba mababawi ng 1 million? Or in 2 years or in 3 years? So that will be a great determinant of how successful a business is if mabalik na ang ilang investment within just a short period of time. So basically, um, kailangan mas maganda kung mas madali na mabalik ang ROI. Okay? So that's just the cross margin return on investment. Kasi syempre, ma-determine naman yung, kasi paano mo siya mako-compute yung ROI mo? Based still siya sa bottom line. So when we say bottom line, that is an understandable term about about net profit. Okay? So we have warehousing costs. We continue our list of supply chain metrics or ECM metrics with the warehousing costs. The cost distribution and the management of the time and space of your inventory are critical in establishing a healthy supply chain. While such costs vary from warehouse to warehouse, it's important to measure this indicator and review it regularly in order to identify opportunities and decrease unwanted costs. The management of the warehouse facility includes various costs such as labor costs, warehouse rent, utility bills, equipment costs, material and information handling system, as well as costs related to supplies, ordering, and storing the goods. So warehousing is something now that businesses are considering. How are they going to limit the expenses? Because warehousing is sometimes a need, but if you can reduce the need for warehousing, it will be good for the business. Like for example, may mga businesses like what I have shared in the previous lectures that are producing goods based on the order. So kung walang order, hindi sila gagawa. Especially if it is already a known brand, no? Ganun yung ginagawa nila. Because warehousing or storing your inventories or your products is very costly. Number one, kailangan mo sang warehouse. So baka kalupa, patindugan mo sa building. Or magrenta ka sa warehouse. Still, whatever way are you going to choose for storing your goods in a warehouse, magrenta man or mabakal ka sa lote, that will still be a cost for the business, especially if you are just renting. So monthly yung cost for warehouse. And you will need people, magbantay, warehouse supervisor, labors doon, securities, di ba? So that's cost. Pag very specialized items, again, especially like for today, very prominent or very known yung vaccine, di ba? There are vaccines that need to be stored with a specific temperature. Again, para ma-retain mo yung efficiency ng vaccine. So for example, kailangan 10 degrees Celsius lang or negative 5 degrees Celsius. So you need to pay for the air conditioning or whatever system that you will need para ma-continue ma-meet yung standard temperature for the vaccine. So that's the cost. So nowadays, businesses are looking for ways how are they going to limit or to, if possible, totally lost the cost. So keeping the cost on the lower side of the spectrum starts with being well informed about all the processes that are happening at the warehouse facility and how exactly it operates. That way, you will have a better chance to reduce unnecessary costs and introduce steps to manage operations more efficiently, as well as adjust them when needed. Besides, if you collect your information on a regular basis with the help of a professional online reporting tool, you will have the opportunity to rely upon your reports and make faster, more accurate business decisions. So basically, of course, that is the goal of any businesses to again, yung sinabi ko previously in our previous discussions, the target to make more profit is number one, increase sales or services, increase the volume of sales, di ba? Or reduce expenses. So here, sabi dito, keeping unnecessary costs. So reducing or totally eliminating unnecessary costs like warehousing will be a great help to the company, and it will make the business more efficient and the products to be sold all brand new. Di ba? Kasi kung walang warehousing, totally, yung ibebenta mo ng product is bagong gawa. Kasi di ba kung mag-warehouse ka, first in, first out. That's the common practice, FIFO. First in, first out. Kung ano yung unang dumating na stocks, for example, dami ko sang products. Example, let's say, bugas, di ba? Kung ano itong una nga nagsulod yung bugas, ang unang-una mong ibaligya. Pag maubos itong, for example, ng 7 tonner. Kung ano itong una nga mga sako nga nag-abot sa mga 7 tonner, ang itong una mong ibaligya. As long as, pa siya, edible or makakain. And then, pag naubos na ito, for example, 10 sacks, magpalabas ka naman ng another 10 sacks. So kung ano itong una nga nagsulod sa imong warehouse, ang unang-una mong ibaligya. So that's the FIFO system. And we have the supply chain costs. Costs are one of the supply chain key performance indicators that shows relevant costs that are associated with supply chain management. These costs include planning, managing teams, sourcing, delivering, etc. And it will show how efficient parts of the company are. It's critical for any business to increase its profit, and reducing costs is one of the strategies that is often applied. That way, the company can identify if there is any space for improvement without the need to create sales in the process. So basically here, it's now more of the administrative view of supply chain management. So of course, we will have a team. So how are you going to plan to manage the team, to source supplies, inventories, delivery, etc. So all the costs there, of course, if you have lesser costs, that means it is more effective that you are reducing costs to maximize the profit. However, it's essential to evaluate what kind of impact the cost reduction will have on the whole supply chain. For example, if your transportation costs are high and you decide to push the speed and weight of trucks, you can risk accidents and potentially detrimental consequences for your business. You may also keep in mind that cutting costs in one area of the supply chain can increase in another, so careful analysis in this part is essential. You can perform a benchmark or compare yourself with competitors in order to know whether this KPI in supply chain is steady and healthy, or you need additional adjustments to be competitive. If you want to learn more about costs and the financial side of the business, we suggest you read. I will give you the source now. You read the guide on financial graph. So basically here, it is just saying that our goal is to reduce costs, but we need to make sure also that the costs that we are cutting, the costs that we are eliminating, will not have a great impact for the company. Hindi nga, we should not be, parang basta wala lang expenses. So wala ut doon ang tanan nga supply, ut doon ang kuryente. Of course, we need to determine also what is the impact if we cut that cost. What are the potential risks? Like for example, dito sinabi it's more of the security, safety and security of the delivery. So how are we okay with endangering the lives and the inventories of our employees and our inventories just to reduce those costs? So we need to consider those things. Additional is the supply chain cost versus sales. So I think this is self-explanatory. So dito, optimizing the supply chain means reducing costs as much as possible. But here, As we mentioned, it's important to cut costs where it makes sense and not simply doing it to bring down the numbers. So similar to what I have just shared, we need to be determinant, and we need to examine properly the cost that we want to eliminate. Will it have a negative impact for the company if we eliminate those costs or not? If not, then at all means, di ba? Cut those costs, di ba? So to know whether you're successful in comparing your costs with sales, you can simply research industry benchmarks or compare your business with competitors. That way, you will know whether your percentage is too low or too high. In any case, it's critical to compare your data with the averages of the relevant industry. Number 10 is the on-time shipping, an excellent indicator of how long you may need to ship a particular type of order to a client, customer, customer or partner. This KPI will allow you to set a benchmark shipping time relative to each product, which in turn will allow you to optimize your shipping and delivery processes, reducing turnover time and boosting customer satisfaction level. So here it is just a simple but very important performance indicator. The delivery on time of your supply of the orders of your customers, because number one, it will make your it means that the process in your system is efficient and effective, and of course you will boost the satisfaction, or you will make your customers happy because you deliver their orders on time. Okay. And we have the delivery time. Delivery time is a KPI for supply chain that focuses on improving service. It measures the amount of time needed from the moment the order is shipped to the delivery on the customer's doorstep. The order needs to be correctly prepared and the destination reached within a reasonable time frame. Otherwise, the general service may be affected, and the impression you leave on your customers is that no one likes to wait for 9 months to get to their delivered goods. So it is very self-explanatory. It is similar to the previous one, the delivery time of your products and to the customers. Okay, I think this is quite self-explanatory already. Now here, to return reason. The return reason supply chain metric offers an astute insight into the various motives causing your customers and clients to return their orders. A piece of information that is priceless to the ongoing success of an e-commerce business. Presented in a digestible pie chart style format with a key showcasing the primary reasons for return, you will be able to assess your areas of weakness, analyze the quality of critical areas of your supply chain process, and make the kind of improvements that will enhance not only your reputation but your overall level of service significantly. By gaining this level of insight, you stand an excellent chance at decreasing returns, boosting profits, and improving cash flow as a result. So basically here in supply chain management or in any merchandising or manufacturing business, one thing that we don't like or one thing that we are preventing is returns. Okay? We prevent returns as much as possible because when customers return our products, that can simply means a loss on sales or a loss on the satisfaction of the customers to our company. Okay? So here, ang sabi dito, if reasonable talaga yung returns, then of course we need to cater those returns. And then we list down the reasons, no? The reasons why customers are returning our products. Then as much as possible, we will illustrate those returns or gagawa tayo ng parang pie chart. Okay, so when we say pie chart, parang ano lang siya, talagang pie. Okay, sige, pero pizza, similar to pizza, ano yung portions doon na ano yung mga reasons na marami, di ba? Ano yung reason ng return? Ano yung isang reason na napaka-frequent? Example, damage. So kung makita sa pie chart mo na malaki yung portion for damage goods, it means that you need to focus on how to make sure na yung pag-deliver sa customer ng iyong products is hindi siya madadamage. 'Di ba? Parang I think it's common sense, no? Yung ginashare ko. Pero, di ba, kung mabalaan mo nga amo ng frequent reason or top reason nga gina-return ang iyong mga products, then of course, basically, you need to improve on those sectors. You need to improve on those indicators. Okay? Then we have the inventory to sales ratio. So this metric measures the amount of inventory for sale in comparison to the actual quantity that is sold, expressed just in a ratio. So that's self-explanatory. The inventory velocity. Okay, so a pivotal supply chain KPI, the inventory velocity or IV, provides a visual snapshot of the percentage of inventory that's projected for consumption within the next period or quarter. Calculated by dividing the opening stock by the sales forecast for the following period, the IV is a KPI that will help you optimize your inventory levels, give you a greater chance of meeting consumer demand, and prevent you from wasting money on excess levels of stocks. Okay. So velocity is just the flow of inventory. Okay. So from the supplier going to your consumer. So here we just need to optimize the inventory levels so that we will have a greater chance of meeting the consumer demand. So dapat mas maraming demand tayo, mas marami tayong supply, or maybe not mas marami, but to a point lang na need. So need ng customer. So here we will be going back to one of the rules of managers. So projection, forecasting. So in forecasting, it is a scientific hypothesis of what will happen, di ba? That's the forecasting. How much sales can we sell on those periods, especially if it is a peak period for our products. So what do we mean by peak period? For example, kandila. So ang peak period sa kandila is November. Whether may brownout or wala, November saleable ang kandila. Okay? I will not explain why. So kung balaan mo nga November saleable ang kandila, so basically, prior to November, you will produce more candles, di ba? To satisfy the demand and optimize the income. Okay? And we have the inventory days of supply. While these may not be the most panoramic or all-encompassing of supply chain metrics, inventory days of supply is particularly useful as it will give you a fairly accurate calculation of the number of days it will take you to run out of supply if it wasn't replenished. So by tracking, analyzing, and understanding this trend data on a regular basis, you will be able to prepare for and avoid any stock-based calamities in an emergency situation, saving your reputation and cash flow in the process. So dito papasok yung mga buffer stocks. So when we say buffer stocks, for example, yung yung delivery time from your suppliers to your warehouse or to your place is 2 days. So yung and then each day may target, meron kang projected sales ng 100 supplies. So kung 2 days before mag-abot ang imong ang order, and then 100 ang mabarigya mo per day. So your buffer stock is supposedly 200. Diba? Anong buffer stock? So kung mag-abot sa 200 ang imong inventory, that means you need now to order for your inventory. Kaya 200 na lang mo. So 2 days man na magabot ang imo nga order, and every day may order ka nga 100, or every day may benta ka 100 supplies. So you need to, pag-abot sa 200 inventory level, you need now to order. Para hindi ka, on the third day, hindi magabot ang third day nga wala ka sang, hindi magabot ang adlaw nga wala ka sang available stocks to sell. And that's my reference for our discussion. So thank you for listening.